Houston, we are on the doorstep of destiny.
You know what I put in there? The fireworks. Live from, oh my goodness, it's super early. I was not expecting this, guys. Oh my goodness gracious. I come with an offering.
An offering.
A pair of sunglasses that you can put on. Brew, I know you had the Texans, and I know you don't believe in the Broncos. Nick, you certainly do not believe in the Broncos. You both need AFC teams. I welcome you. I invite you. I implore you to put on the sunglasses, just like I am beloved in Kansas City, and join me in walking through the door of destiny. You don't have to do it now, you certainly can, but this door will be here perhaps all show. They're here for you. You know it's happening. We introduced the door of destiny months ago. Everyone's like, oh, that's a funny thing. We got a door. Next thing you know, we're in the AFC Championship against a backup quarterback who we know isn't good because he was on the Patriots. Nick, can I entice you to put on the sunglasses?
Can I see him?
Yes. Take these ones. These are the good ones.
He might
See how they feel. See how they feel. Oh, yeah.
Let me see him.
Put them on.
Put them on.
Oh! Get through the door. Get through the door.
You know what I'm saying?
Get through the door.
Jared the Javelin. I'm saying.
I told you. You should have known, Wild.
I'm telling you. You notice my jacket?
You're a Broncos
Maybe I'm
fan
starting
now?
to believe in
You
the
are a
Broncos a little
fan
bit.
now?
Bo Nix played pretty well this weekend, didn't he?
He's not on the team.
I understand. Well, Sean Payton coached him up. I'm not taking your stupid glasses. I'm not walking through your stupid door. Can we start the real show?
Take shots at their good glass. We are starting with the controversy of the Bills game that may have cost Sean McDermott his job. Tied at 30 in overtime. Josh to Brandon Cooks to Jaquan McMillan sets up the game-winning kick for Denver. Look, we did turn the ball over 3 times, but not 4. Did Josh and the Bills get robbed of a win?
4, but not
No, the whining about the officiating is embarrassing. I don't know if it's more embarrassing than the whole team being teary-eyed after a divisional round loss on the road, but it's pretty embarrassing. And it is par for the course. The Bills can't take playoff losses. Lose the 13-second game, change the rules, NFL, and they did. Last year, we got those first downs on the tush push. We did.
That's right.
We got those first downs. I've watched it. I know. I cross my heart and hope to die. We got those. And this one, an odd but obvious interception is what else could it have been? It certainly wasn't a catch, and it certainly wasn't an incompletion. It was an interception. But they did all that because they were hurt and they were wounded. And the only person who got why the game went the way it did was Josh Allen, who Josh Allen has more comfort and more ability in putting the blame on Josh Allen than seemingly anybody in the media who claims to love Josh Allen. They lost that game because their superhero quarterback, who I thought was going to win, who I have believed in all year long, who I was wrong, Wilds was right, that the plan of don't worry about the turnovers, make superhero plays would blow up on him. You were right. He 4 separate times, even if you remove one of the fumbles and that pick, lost them the game. And it's in sequence. We'll show it in sequence. The fumble before the end of the first half is as bad of a fumble as you will ever see from a veteran quarterback. And I got to listen to experts this morning giving more flack to the lineman for not falling on it than Josh for fumbling it. That's the end of the first.
That's actually true? Wow. Somebody said that?
That's the end of the first half. Then, in the midst of the comeback, after Bo makes, and Bo played great. You said it earlier, Brew, he was the best quarterback of the weekend.
Absolutely.
Credit to him. Josh does this. Now, is that a great defensive play? Sure. Do you need to make this throw when you're on the cusp of field goal range? Certainly in Mile High, you might already be in field goal range. Of course not. And then 2 times had the throw to win the game. Do I think he would have scored a touchdown here if he would have caught it? Well, I don't know. He scored a touchdown. But he hops it to him.
Yep.
That's to go up 8 points. And it's a very rare incompletion that we know what would have happened if it would have been incompletion. And then this one, again, that would have been a great throw, but I've been beat over the head for 3 months that he's the most talented quarterback in the history of the league.
And dude is wide open.
Listen, I have a ton of respect for Josh Allen. And one of the reasons I have a ton of respect for Josh Allen is he understood it. He was the biggest reason they lost. Was he the reason they are the Bills? Yes. Was he the reason they were in that position? Yes. But he had 4 turnovers and 2 missed game-winning throws. That's why they lost, not because of the Calvin Johnson rule. That's what happened.
Well, first of all, with the calls, you guys know, I don't want to hear you complaining about calls. I get it. That call, as well as the pass interferences, debatable and all that stuff. We've seen worse, unfortunately. It's unfortunate that there are calls like this, but all these calls are judgment calls. And Sean Payton has actually been on the wrong side of worse calls.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, so nobody wants to hear that. They want to bring it up, fine. But for Josh Allen, he said he felt like he let his team down. He did not let his team down because he is the team. Without him, they're not in the playoffs. They're not a contender, none of that. So he can't let his team down. But that said, this loss is on him. There were 2 losses this weekend that are on the quarterbacks. We'll get to C.J. Stroud later. Those 2. A lot of quarterbacks had turnovers this weekend and didn't play well. Those 2, though, the losses were on them. And Josh Allen does have to wear this because the number 1 job of the quarterback is to not turn the ball over. And he did it 4 times. Now, if you look at every single game, the team with the fewest turnovers, the quarterback who had the fewest turnovers won the game. Now, Drake had 3, but the other quarterback had 4.
3's okay.
So that's what I'm saying.
4 is a lot.
Whoever had the most turnovers lost.
Turnovers, what are you going to do?
Right. And so, and you went through several of his miscues, which I was going to do anyway, but it cost them 9 points. All right. So 3 of his turnovers led to 3 field goals, 9 points. You lost the turnover battle 5-1. And you lost by 3 points in overtime. With all due respect to Denver, Buffalo was the better team.
Yes.
They just kept giving the ball away. And so, yeah, this loss is on Josh Allen. Now, look, he's been too good in the playoffs overall for us to say he's a choke artist or anything like that. No. But, so it doesn't diminish him in my view. He blew a tremendous opportunity. And that is why I think Josh, Deion Dawkins, Brandon Cooks, those are the 3 I saw. I don't know if anybody else was crying. But that's why. Because they knew once the Chiefs were out, they were like, this is us.
Maybe they shouldn't have, but that is clearly why this loss was so devastating.
And I've been telling you the Bills were overrated all year. That is not a championship caliber defense. In order to
but don't you think they win if Josh doesn't, if he has 2 turnovers?
No, but
yes, but in order to generate points, Josh has to do remarkable stuff. And in order for him to do remarkable stuff, he has to live in the margins, and that's not gonna go your way the entire year. I just want to push back on that. It's wide open. Mahomes wasn't there. They were going to go into New England and lose. We already saw them play the Texans. If that game got flipped, they would have lost to the Texans. And then the next round, that Seahawks defense, they would have lost again.
I mean, KW, you very well might be correct on that. And Brew might be correct that they didn't feel that way.
That's fair.
That they felt like the Chiefs, the Bills.
Yeah, not that it was going to be easy.
Right, but they felt. I think the Bills feel like if Patrick Mahomes had chosen baseball, we'd be the dynasty.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we already would have 3
With
or 4.
good reason,
Right. And so, but here is the pushback. Listen, Josh Allen obviously is an all-time great quarterback. And again, but you guys used to say it was like straw man when I was saying this guy said that Allen's better than Mahomes. It has become maybe fairly because of how Patrick played this year. The almost certainly majority, if not universal opinion, that's the best player in the league. That's the best player in the league. That's the guy. And so when that is what you are called, then the fine-tooth comb comes out. And it doesn't take a fine-tooth comb to see the 4 turnovers, but he has been flirting with these big turnover games in the playoffs the last couple years. Last year against the Chiefs, the first 2 passes of the game hit Chiefs in the hands. Romo was like, oh my God, he almost threw 2 picks to start the game. And he fumbled 3 times, and they recovered all 3. In his career at this point, he is the greatest wild card round quarterback ever. We can show you that. It's undeniable. And the numbers after that round are not the same. It's 9 fumbles in 8 games. It's 4 interceptions in 8 games.
Not fumbles lost. But
No, correct. Just fumbles. But like it's a game of chance whether or not you get them or you don't. Those aren't like bad numbers. 280. The win-loss record's bad, but
and the fumbles.
But the left-hand column is what creates the amazing postseason stats, and the right-hand column.
In the game, the 13-second.
Well,
game.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm about done feeling like, man, the Bills were going to win that game.
The 13-second game?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what? Like the coin toss. Can we see Josh Allen and the Bills win one single overtime game ever?
That's weird.
So the 13-second game, they didn't get the ball. Every other overtime game he's played in, they got the ball. They've gotten 3 points in those 6 games, and here's Josh's numbers in those 6 games. In overtime.
In the overtime.
Yeah, of course, just in overtime. So there's always been this, oh man, they were gonna, and he was playing so great that game, maybe they would have. But I know that they had the opportunity in this overtime on Saturday. They got the ball, and they got 0 points again.
Here's the other thing that's interesting. And, when they've lost to the Chiefs, it's been like, okay, the Chiefs are better. Mahomes, they're the champions, all that. His 2 worst playoff games since he became Josh Allen, after his first playoff game when he was. No, they were losses that most people expect. I don't know if they were favored. You might know. Cincinnati, you're supposed to win that game in Buffalo.
Yes.
It's snowing. It's one of his worst playoff game until this one, and then this game when
they weren't favored.
Yeah, but a lot of people felt like they're going to beat Denver. He's Josh Allen. And he plays. So it's almost like when they're expected to win, he has not been at his best.
Which is, and now he's at 8 playoff wins, and this is tough. I agree, Brew. That's all right. That was hitting the alarm saying we're going too long in this, but I still haven't dropped a banner yet. It's now, listen.
Alarm of.
He's got 8 playoff wins. The other 30 quarterbacks with at least 6 have been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So without a Super Bowl appearance, the most playoff wins by a quarterback, it's Mark Brunell, Danny White, Phillip Rivers, and then a 3-win gap to Josh Allen, which is what. And so now part of that is not a bad, like winning 8 playoff games is amazing. Those numbers are amazing. He's the defending league MVP. I think, KW, it's fair to say he's the best to never do it. Listen. You think that's too mean?
I don't know.
You don't like that one?
Lamar might be.
Odd debate.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right, let's get to McDermott. After the game, Josh Allen went to the podium with tears in his eyes, largely blaming himself for the loss. The organization disagreed. This morning, Sean McDermott fired by the Bills. Cameron Wolfe reporting that Bills players were shocked. One text said, WTF? Here's McDermott's resume. Win percentage, second best since he joined the Bills. 7-10 win seasons, 8 playoff appearances, 6 division round appearances, second best. But then they had a long drought before he showed up. So, changes in Buffalo. Did McDermott deserve to be fired, bro?
Look, Sean McDermott's a very good coach. I think they had made the playoffs once in like 17 years before he got there, and they made it 8 out of 9 or whatever it was under him. The reports are that he wants to coach next year, and I'm sure he'll get a job. He's a very good coach. And you guys know a few years ago, 22-20, after that loss to the Bengals, I've been saying he should have been on the hot seat.
Yep.
I stopped saying it last year because I didn't feel like they had – I was on the record, they'll make the playoffs, but they're not a contender.
You thought they overachieved.
And they overachieved, I thought. This year, the same thing. So I think that he's done a good job, very good job, his whole time there, but particularly these last 2 years. However, here's the thing. He has had 9 years with the Bills, 8 years with Josh Allen, and hasn't even reached the Super Bowl, let alone won one. And the standard's different in Buffalo. It just is now because you're a contender every year now. Now it's you have to get over the hump. Don't give me if you're the Jets. Oh, we'd love to have Sean McDermott. Yeah, you would, and you'd love to be in that position. But once you get to that position, it's about getting over the hump. And I do think there's reason to believe he can't or won't get them over the hump to win the Super Bowl. It would be hard. You saw the emotions in that locker room to come back next year and just let's do it again. I mean, you could. But, hey, let's do the same thing. Here's the deal, Nick. His last 5 playoff games this year blew a fourth-quarter lead at Denver. Last year, blew a fourth-quarter lead at Kansas City. The year before that, blew a fourth-quarter lead at Kansas City. Year before that, blown out by Cincinnati at home. Year before that, blew a fourth-quarter lead at Kansas City.
Are they blowing leads or is Mahomes coming back?
You're a defensive coach. Their last 6 playoff losses, this defensive team has been really good several of these years. Have given up 33.5 points a game. So look, I think it's justifiable that you moved on. I wouldn't have raised a lot of noise if they hadn't, but I think it's very justifiable. The thing I'll add, I think Brandon Beam, the GM, Bean should have gone with.
Well, instead he got promoted.
He got promoted. Right.
Yeah.
I think they both should have gone because Bean has not. You got this all-time great quarterback, but you don't want to give him a great receiver like you had in Stephon Diggs, and look at Diggs now.
So listen, you're right that those playoff losses you went through, like the last 3, they did have a fourth-quarter lead. The other team did retake the lead, the Chiefs the last 2 years and then the Broncos Saturday. But in all 3 of those instances, they then also had the ball with plenty of time, with Josh having a chance to answer, either in regulation. 2 years ago in Kansas City, they got the ball back with 8 minutes left, down 3 points, got 0 points. Last year in Kansas City, they got the ball back with 3.5 minutes left, down 3 points. And this time, they got the ball back in overtime, if we just want to put it there, and had a chance to just, in sudden death overtime at that point, to go win the game, and they didn't. So, yes, they blew the lead, but also they had a chance to go get it. Danny said Friday that if they lose a game like this, he should be fired. And I was like, I was surprised how surprised I was. Like, oh, they're not going to fire him. Like, they had a good year. No, people didn't look at them like they already won a road playoff game. So I didn't go into this game thinking his job's on the line. But the emotion of that game, maybe they had decided they were going to fire him if they lost beforehand. But if they hadn't, the fact that that game left that team in shambles, and him, being Sean McDermott, in shambles to where he's making the unprecedented move of calling reporters from the team plane to complain about a call well after the press conference, meant it was untenable to run it all back. It felt like this was the type of catastrophic defeat, even though I don't view this as some catastrophic defeat. I view it as pretty simple. Your star player turned the ball over 4 times, and you lost. I don't view it as they got robbed. And I also don't view it as, this wasn't the Super Bowl.
You lost to the 1 seed in their building.
In a game where you
But
didn't play
again,
your
to
best.
them, it was Chiefs are gone.
I think that's what they thought. And it is, here's the other thing. Because the last 6 years, they've led the league in everything, except for the only thing their fans actually care about. It's stunning. Most points scored, fewest points allowed, the best record. They lead the league in all those categories. They are last in the league in Super Bowl appearances and wins. Makes it tough.
Oof. All right, head to Chicago. Caleb Williams made one of the most amazing plays in NFL history and then threw a game-losing interception to Cam Curl that led to the Rams' victory. What do you make of Caleb's performance?
He threw 3 interceptions, had a 59 passer rating.
Mm-hmm.
And I left that game thinking he played a good game. No. I mean,
You agree, KW?
From now, I have an announcement. I have to steal Bruce.
Let Brew go and then make
And then
their
I'll do an
announcement.
announcement.
First of all, I felt like he outplayed Matthew Stafford in the first half. And we know that had been an issue for Caleb lately. I thought, and not that he was awesome, but I thought he was better than Stafford. He had 150 yards, a touchdown, a pick, was accurate, 13 for 19. And, you know, you've talked about it and shown it while it was the great play to tie the game. He made a believer out of me.
Wow.
Like, this dude, he reminds me, Nick, of Mahomes. And not that he's not as accurate as Patrick and all of that stuff, but as far as the dynamic off-schedule stuff he's able to do, particularly late, the clutch stuff late, it's just, I honestly, the Bears are going to be a force next year. And assuming he gets the other stuff down, which I imagine he will, being a little more accurate, being a little more on time, that dude is got some special qualities. So, like I said, he made a believer out of me.
I want to hear your announcement.
I have been a Caleb skeptic.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a huge fan of the spectacular. I like meat and potatoes quarterback play like Drake May minus the turnover. You know, a little 8 yards here, 6 yards there, a little bit of yak, nice explosive play.
Your platonic ideal quarterback was Mac Jones with talent.
Not bad.
Yeah.
That being said, these last 2 games from Caleb, and specifically that play, was Captain Sully-esque to me. If you do one thing so spectacular that I've never seen anything like that in my entire life, you were on a free pass for a long time from old KW. Captain Sully goes into a restaurant, accidentally forgets to leave a tip. People want to talk trash. Settle down. The guy landed a plane in a river, okay? Whatever Caleb does, throw a game-losing interception that may be a misread by DJ Moore, whatever, doesn't matter. That was the most unbelievable play I've ever did my football life peak. Did the football life peak at my parents' house watching the game? Maybe. It was I don't even have words for it, Nick. Unbelievable.
So I mean, this is, I actually don't, you said all that, and deep down I actually think the 4th down play he made last week was more impressive.
Than this?
Yeah, I know, we can, but my point is that in the last 2 weeks, he has had a play that I called the single best throw since I've been on TV, and a play that you said might have made your football life peak. And their different 4th down plays to save their season is pretty spectacular. And so, to me, he proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he could one day be the best player in the league.
Oh, yeah.
That door is now wide open. Shut up. Listen, he has to learn from some of the mistakes, including, I agree, the DJ Moore thing. My blame pie on that would be mostly on DJ Moore, but he doesn't have to go for a kill shot there. Mm-hmm. They're in sudden death. They're on the cusp of field goal range. Learn from those mistakes. Improve on the fundamentals. Those types of things. But the things that are the hardest to learn, playmaking instincts, athleticism, arm talent, clutch. Those things are either unteachable or the hardest to teach. He's an A+ in all of them. He's 24 years old and fully bonded now with his head coach. And the growth from 4 months ago, we were more off the air than on the air saying, like, is Tyson Bagent going to be a conversation? 4 months ago, after a rough offseason, 0-2 start, to be from there to there, to me, I know it's cliche, it's not the deepest analysis, the sky is the limit. And you just got to feel great about it.
Quickly, another announcement. Had they won this game, and I know it shouldn't come down to win, he played the same way. Him, Drake, is a debate.
Yeah. Well,
Different. They do it different way. Now, if Drake wins the Super Bowl, which they have a great chance to do, gets there even, okay, no debate right now.
Oh, yeah.
But
of course.
it's a debate.
Yeah, it would have been a good hypothetical. New England Patriots are back in the AFC Championship game where they belong. Drake May threw 3 touchdowns while challenging his defense to step up as he kept fumbling the ball. They did. What leadership, coach. A defensive score as well while hounding C.J. Stroud all game long. I just want to take a second, coach, because it is your birthday and I'm going to break format a little bit. And I just want to say how lucky we have been on this show. I'm sorry about that. Happy birthday, though. I was going to say. We're going to get to that.
He's the worst. He's just the worst.
Dynasty on deck.
Dynasty, see,
Oh,
you're going to take it
back?
too far again.
Ooh, dynasty gap years. We were around Europe smoking slim cigarettes. Oh my goodness, having coffee out of very tiny cups. Oh, take a little dynasty gap year. Little Cam Newton, little Mac Jones, little Jarrett Stidham. Woof. But we are back on the doorstep of destiny, 1 game away from the Super Bowl against a team that we already be in the Super Bowl. We've already been both of the teams. Coach, sorry, happy birthday.
Thank you.
This doesn't seem like a nice question to coach.
You can ask
Why?
me it.
Why?
I'll ask you. Because we don't have an adversarial relationship. Once a Patriot, always a Patriot.
Great point.
Are you ready to admit I was right all along about the New England Patriots?
Begrudgingly, maybe.
I'll take it.
Assuming you are ready to admit that you owe Brew and I an apology for doing the steam coming out of your ears bright red thing when we said, despite the fact that Drake May had been excellent all year, we thought he might hit some little hurdles come the postseason.
Ooh.
Because I'm about to give the Patriots a bunch of compliments.
I'll meet you in the middle. Drake has not played as well as Drake can.
Well, yeah, we can show you the numbers.
Well, we don't have to do that.
I mean, so
Just fumbles lost, please.
I mean, listen. He had but this coach is where Wilds has been the most right. The fact that objectively their quarterback has dropped a couple levels and has made some unbelievable plays, and I thought the touchdown we showed was more an unbelievable catch than unbelievable throw. But he's made regardless.
Yeah, it was good both. Really good both.
He has not played well. He's their MVP of their team and going to be 1 or 2 in MVP voting. He's turning the ball over. He's fumbling, and they're winning easily.
Yeah.
Speaks to that. Maybe I had underrated the overall quality of the team and the job that Mike Vrabel was doing and was going to continue to do come this postseason. Because for your quarterback to not be playing great and you win 2 games easily in the playoffs, that's wildly impressive. And so that is where I think I was, undersold the Pats. Even though, by the way, I picked them in both games to win.
That's true.
This should be fair.
Well, I think it depends on what you're considering destiny, how we're defining destiny. So if you look at it as, are they this year's Washington? So is Drake May this year's version of Jaden Daniels? Is the team this year's version of Washington? Remember, Washington, poor record, great performance by a young quarterback, go to the NFC Championship game. And what happens this year? They fired all 3 coordinators, take a step back after a really good, what was considered a good offseason in terms of who they acquired. So there's that component. Are you saying destiny is they're going to go on like the old Patriots dynasty, the destiny is a dynasty, or are we talking about this season? Because destiny this season, I think Wildes could absolutely be right. So we discredit them because of who they played, but yet they perform really well against 2 really good teams in the playoffs, and they are where they are. And when we won our first Super Bowl, what happened is there was a play where we were playing Buffalo. David Patton gets knocked out. He fumbles the ball. We need to go down and score to win the game. It's going to help us get in the playoffs. He fumbles. Now he's passed out on the sideline, okay? He's knocked out cold. His head is out of bounds. The ball is on his foot. The Bills recover it, but because the ball was on his foot and his head was on the sideline, it was out of bounds, and we kept the ball, and we win the game. So we got a bunch of breaks like that season. You look at New England this season, those fumbles yesterday were typically the Texans would pick it up and run it in for a touchdown. New England falls on it. And now they're playing in the AFC Championship, and the quarterback fractures his foot or whatever 2 plays before. Yeah. There are things where the football guys are kind of saying, hey, maybe this is New England's year. Just like that.
They definitely deserve it.
It's been so long.
It's been such a tough run for you guys.
Some people have only seen 2 championships if you're young.
What I'm saying is that from this season's perspective, so many things are breaking right. And I'm not discrediting it, but you need to be good and also have some fortunate breaks, which they've had.
Here's the other thing, was look, obviously the defense has been great. 9.5 points allowed in each, on average in these 2 games. And Drake, I understand the turnovers and it hasn't been what we saw in the regular season. But the difference between him and most of the other quarterbacks, because everybody's turning it over, is he is countering his bad plays with great plays. Like that, C.J. Stroud didn't counter a lot of his, his turnovers with any great plays for the most part. And other quarterbacks, same situation. He is doing that. And so I'm not down on Drake. Nick and I were talking before the show. A lot of times quarterbacks, great quarterbacks, struggle or have their bad moments in playoffs. We know Brady famously, no touchdown passes in the first Super Bowl run, and so
3 total offensive touchdowns in the whole play.
Look at that. So this is more, Mahomes has spoiled us because he's been great in almost all his playoff games, but the norm is that guys struggle a little bit. You're playing the best teams in the league and all that stuff. So I don't think Drake has been bad. I mean, you don't like the turnovers.
No, the fumbling has been bad. Other than that,
he's come back with winning plays on the other hand.
The one thing I was 100% wrong about, we had a top 5 defense and offense going in. I'm like, I thought we were young Mike Tyson.
The one thing you were wrong about is the underrating the Patriots.
Yes,
is what you're about
I
to
thought
say.
we were a young Mike Tyson, coach. I'm like, I'm positive we can throw punches. I don't know if we can take punches. But this defense has gotten to another level. Like, maybe CJ.
No, but that's where I give Vrabel credit.
The defense has been so good. The one thing, Stroud threw into a tight windows. I think this is from Solak. Career high, 29% of his attempts. He completed 2 of 14 passes. So Gonzalez has been great. The whole defense is very.
Been great.
Milton Williams is ending games. We've been
saying
great.
That Stroud threw into tight windows is a little bit. He wasn't even close to the window. We're just hoping to hit the house.
Through tight windows.
Patriots Broncos Sunday at 3 o'clock. All right, so, I'm sorry, gentlemen. We didn't get a chance to play you off. Rough one for C.J. Stroud. He goes into halftime throwing 4 interceptions. This after a 5-fumble game last week. Most interceptions and fumbles, not just lost. Stroud had 10 in 2 games. Carson Palmer had 9. Should the Texans have benched Stroud at halftime?
Well, first of all, and with all due respect to your Patriots, to me, this loss was on C.J. Stroud. Like, if they get decent quarterback play, I think they win. That
just
defense
doesn't throw the pick 6.
Yeah, right. Well, that would have taken 7 off the board, obviously. But I just think he has to wear this. So as far as the question, It's tough for me because I think I texted you guys he might get benched like in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought about Trevor Lawrence in his first playoff game, how he threw 4 picks in the first half, 3 in the first quarter, and then, of course, came back with the
That's
3
interesting.
touchdowns in the second half, and they won. So I thought, okay, maybe, that could happen. But honestly, I think in that moment, I would have benched him. And it doesn't mean he wouldn't have entered the next week or next season as my starter in training camp. But at that moment, I think I'd have benched him. They went 3-0 with Davis Mills as the starter. They beat Buffalo and Jacksonville. He had 5 touchdowns, a pick. I'm not saying he's great, but I just needed somebody not to turn the ball over. And so I probably would have benched him.
And I would just, before you go, Coach,
Yeah, sure.
the Trevor comp is a great example of a guy who could have that bad of a half and rebound. What would have informed me on this is the previous week.
Yeah.
Last week, CJ was not quite as bad, but he was, he was turning the ball over a bunch in that game as well to lead into it.
Yeah, so I do think the Trevor Lawrence part of it came into the equation. And then when they did come out in the second half, the very first drive, they have a nice drive and they kick a field goal. Then New England turns the ball over. They have another good drive and the running back fumbles the ball. So it's not really on Stroud there, so they have a chance there. And then going into the fourth quarter, if they score a touchdown, they take the lead. I think if he had come out in that first drive, they hadn't gotten anything done at all, maybe that's where he would have pulled the trigger. But the fact that they got that field goal and then going into the fourth quarter, you're only down by a score. He's been your guy, and you say that you believe in him to have yanked him in the fourth quarter. Now, all that being said, there was not a lot of redeeming throws in that where you're watching the game going, oh, he's got his fastball. I mean, he didn't have any.
Felt like he could have had 7 picks.
Yeah,
4 felt
They were
like the
brewing.
minimum.
Yes.
There were a couple others where it looked like, oh my God, is that gonna get picked? I think you got to bench him. I just think you have to bench him because here's the other piece of it. It's not as if he is going to get the contractual version of a benching this summer when they don't give him a big extension.
You can't. Yeah,
right.
You can't.
So like that,
But the tough thing is, Nick, you start the second half, you move the ball down the field, and you kick a field goal, and then the game's in.
No, they were right.
No, at that point, then once you start the second half with him, you're rolling with him. But my point is, at halftime.
See, I think if they had imploded that first drive, I think that's where they would have pulled out.
Sure, but I guess what I'm saying is, I agree with you. Once you start with him and something positive happens, but it wasn't just that he was playing that bad and just looked shook. He did not look like. What I will say about Trevor in that playoff game 4 years ago, his demeanor was not like, what is happening? He seemed angry. CJ looked stressed out, to say the least. And the fact that Davis Mills had played this season, and we can show you the numbers, you alluded to them, had started 3 games. Again, dink and dunk, not great, 59, but wasn't turning the ball over, had experience, makes him one of the better candidates to come into a playoff game. Mm-hmm. But the bigger picture story is what has happened to C.J. Stroud. Luckily, this show, we know the answer.
What is it? No, don't do that.
TLT.
No.
The lecture that led to the losing.
No. First of all, they both lost in the same round.
I'm a strong no like Wilds, but it does
KW.
match up.
The lecture that led to the losing.
It does match up.
I mean, the guy was 32 touchdowns, 9 turnovers, 12-7, a 102 rating, and then he big brothered Caleb. And since then, we're spending 10 minutes. Would they have had a better chance to make the conference championship game by playing Davis Mills?
They fired the OC, who was the hot shot OC, and they were great. And they had a down year because they had no offensive line. And it felt like, I don't know, this is a little bit of my Mac Jones apology tour. when you switch out your OC,
KW, the year 2, he had the same OC.
I know, but he had no offensive line year 2.
His first year, the offensive line was in flux.
Yeah,
I don't know how he's
40
regressed this
40
much.
touchdowns, 32 turnovers is kind of a crazy stat.
It's bizarre. I hope he gets it back on track.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.